Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the Excursion today. So this old sweetheart is, as near as I can figure, 25 years old today. And today is January 19th, 2025. So that means, yes, this is a 25-year-old Excursion. And the way I determine that, oh my gosh, and we'll look at the VIN sticker, but the engine, of course, the good old Triton V10 2-valve, gas burner that she is, but if we go down here to the engine build sticker, you should be able to see it. It says, if the camera will actually do its job and focus, 01-19-00, January 19th, 2000. Ford Windsor. So, that is what I'm going off of for the age of this sweetheart. Now, we did not get it new. We got it used. Had about 100,000 miles on it at the time. That was back in 2008. So here we go, January of 2000, just in case anybody was wanting to throw a fit about calling me a liar, which they shouldn't, but you never know. It's the internet. So it now has 220,757 miles on it. Still runs excellently. I've done all sorts of stuff to this, both big and small. Most recently, I've put a shifter and shift tube in this. I also put a couple lights in the instrument cluster, and also this year, as the first project in the shop that has been cleaned out enough to put a vehicle in it, I rolled the Excursion in and I replaced the fuel injectors. So now it just starts up real easy, which before it wanted to sit there and crank and crank and crank, and now that I have the new injectors in it, yeah, it runs great, and I've replaced the plugs a while back. I've done several videos on this channel, and I'll put the playlist of that down below if you just want to go peruse it a little bit. But, you know, for a vehicle with 100,000 some miles on it of our use, the interior is actually in pretty good shape. The leather's in good condition. There's really not a lot that has gone wrong with this. The biggest complaint I have is, with the interior at least, is that these vents up here, mainly in the third row, they have always popped out. They've never stayed in there. And it's because us kids are grown and we don't all as a family go everywhere in this vehicle anymore. It's not such a big deal, but back in the day we got over it. You know, if the vents weren't there and we couldn't direct the airflow exactly where we wanted out of the roof. I mean, they'll sort of stay in, but they usually bounce out, you know, when you get on a rough road. And of course, the barn door trim on that side back there it won't stay on, but I've got some ideas to fix that. But, you know, everything is still here for the most part, even down to the hubcaps. The jack handles are still in it. The jack is still in the back here. Everything's here, and it's in very good shape, in and out. Now, it is dirty, right? But the doors aren't sagging. All the doors shut pretty good. We have a couple of pretty good dings. There's one right here, and there's 1, 2 right here. They're pretty obvious. They are just, the wind blows here a lot because it is Kansas, and so sometimes you get a real good wind and it blows something up from far away and, you know, slams right into a vehicle. But honestly, it's still in pretty good shape. Those could be buffed out more or less pretty easy. But the clear coat is still on it. The paint has never started to peel. All of the labels and badges are still on it, you know. Nothing's fading away, really. I have put headlights in it. One of the things that I've done a little bit to the engine, fan clutch, degas bottle there. I've changed the coolant, of course, plugs, injectors, coils. I think I put an alternator in it at one time. I've put some brake calipers on this, you know, master cylinder, a few other things here and there. But this is stuff you would expect to wear out or go bad at higher miles, and at 25 years old, you know, on a vehicle, that's quite a bit. So I can say with confidence that this is the most reliable vehicle that we own, and Excursions in general are very reliable. Of course, early Super Duties like this are pretty reliable as well, because remember that the Excursion is more or less a Ford Super Duty from the second door all the way to the front. It uses the same powertrain, the same suspension, a lot of ways the same frame, the same everything, pretty much. So parts are not hard to get. But it's the most reliable vehicle that we own because, yes, it is the Excursion, but the Ford Super Duties are also reliable. I drive one on the daily, so I would know. And there is a contender that is very close to taking the number one spot for most reliable vehicle around here, and that is the 2007 Mazda CX-9 that we have. But the reason the Mazda is not the most reliable vehicle we have, in my opinion, even though it has 412,000 miles on it, is because the Mazda mostly has highway miles. And while that is, there's a difference between highway miles and farm miles, which is what this Excursion has on it, more or less. The Mazda has also had to have some pretty serious repairs. It's practically got a whole new front end in it. Now, you might say, well, that's not fair. At 400,000 miles, you would expect to replace all that stuff. And you're right, and that, again, is a consideration. But farm miles are harder than highway miles, and I have not had to do near the types of advanced repairs on this Excursion as I have on the Mazda. The Mazda's had some repairs that took her down for a few days, and the Excursion, quite honestly, has never had that. Anything that's gone wrong with this is a day repair or less, and that's with me never having done it before. So make of that what you will. But with that being said, it is important to know that this was purchased originally as our go-to-town when it gets muddy vehicle. Okay? Because, we live out in the countryside with all of the cool old farm equipment, canyons, and 6 miles of dirt road to the nearest highway. And so back when we got this in 2007 or 8, I don't remember which, the roads were somehow worse than they are now. They're going backwards again, but that's a subject for another day. So this was what we got to haul the family back and forth to town in those adverse conditions, mud, snow, whatever, ice, whatever it may be. This would do it. Good weight balance, 4x4, that was a disadvantage to the pickup, is that, they're so heavy on the front end. And you can't haul as many people because, like with this thing here, the engine is so heavy that the front end sinks into the ground unless you have some weight on the back. So the Excursion does really good in mud, and that's why we got it. And it's always done that for us, and that's what we still use it for. So as you may have noticed in the background, we had some snow. It's melting off, about a 10 to 12-inch snow. And, of course, fired the Excursion up to get people back and forth to where they needed to go in the ice because, well, that would haul more than 2 people. And I'm sorry, but the extended cab pickups don't really haul more than 2 people. So it's always done good. It's always been reliable. And when the pickups are down, as this 6.4 Power Stroke is, and it has 280,000 miles on it, so don't bag on it too hard, okay? But when that pickup goes down, and my pickup, the 2001 F250, when it goes down, we bring out the Excursion, we put the receiver hitch in it, hook onto that red trailer, and we go do the farm business that needs to be done, whether or not it's getting fuel, getting oil, hauling us back and forth to the field with tools, whatever it is. This thing has done that more than once. So it's gone off-road in inclement weather. It's done all sorts of stuff. It's pulled trailers, both big and small, mostly small. We don't work it too hard. And it's always done the job. Sometimes it screams a little bit, throws a fit, but it always comes through for us. It always does the job. Old reliable right here. So the fact that this is still pretty much all original at 25 years old and it runs the way it does, I think is pretty impressive. They don't make them the way they used to, and that's no joke. They really don't make them the way they used to. This is an outstanding vehicle. I'm glad that we have it. Every time we get in a bind, the Excursion has never, ever let us down. And again, back to the Mazda for just a second. It's done really good for us. It absolutely has. And I'm not trying to bag on it, but damn it, sometimes that thing quits, and it quits in a way where it won't go. But this Excursion has never done that. It might get a little shaky from time to time. It might pull hard to the right when you step on the brakes a little hard sometimes. But it's always there for us. Always. Always, always, always. And it's comfortable. And that's nice. And I like comfort. I'm a fairly big guy. 6'3". I like my comfort. I like my leg room. And the Excursion here has always delivered on that. Even when I have to sit in the second row or even the third row. I haven't sat in the third row in a while, but it's always comfortable. It doesn't hurt a fella's back to sit in there and make him feel cramped. So it's a good vehicle. Pretty impressive that it is in the condition it's in, given the mileage, given the years, given the work that it's done. And I mean, we've tried to take care of it. We haven't abused it or anything, but it's a farm, and farm vehicles work whether they want to or not. And if they won't earn their keep, they go away. So just, again, a quick tangent on that Power Stroke there. You can bag on it all you want, but we got 100,000 out of it, and it worked. Okay, it did work, just like this Excursion. So anyway, I'm glad we have it, and I'm glad you stopped by to listen in and hear about it and how great it is. And if you have an Excursion, or you had an Excursion, regardless of the year, the engine, or anything, put your story down in the comments if you feel like it. But I would appreciate it. It would be nice to kind of accumulate some Excursion stories in the comments on this video, and just kind of sing praises to one of the best vehicles that Ford ever made. I think it's definitely in the top 5. It's pretty tough. You know, if it can survive us, then it's got to be tough. So, with all that being said, I think I've covered everything of note. I think you guys get the picture. And I'm going to get off here, go do some other stuff. I'll try and get this video uploaded yet today, but if I don't, that's why I mentioned it's January 19th and all that. So, I appreciate you watching. Again, please share your Excursion story down in the comments if you have one. And if you've never had an Excursion and you have the opportunity to get one, and you're ever wondering, like, oh, are they reliable? Are they good? Or, you know, are they really as good as people say? Yes, they are. They are absolutely as good as people say. They will not let you down as long as you take care of it, which any vehicle is going to ask you to take care of it. And if you don't, and if the previous owner didn't, then it's probably not going to run very well. But if you just do basic maintenance on it and take care of it, it will absolutely take care of you every time. Years of dependable service you can get out of these Excursions. So anyway, I'll get off of here. Again, thank you for watching. You guys take care and stay warm, because it's cold, at least where I live, and it may not look like it, but it's like 25 outside right now. And if there was any wind, I wouldn't be making this video. So stay warm. We'll catch you guys in the next one.